What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. Excuse me. This is the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, season 4, episode 15. And next week is the season finale, which next week is when we're supposed to get the whole breakdown of what happened with, I guess, Monica. I don't know. But let me tell you something in this episode that made me so mad. How can y'all not see what Monica is doing? Like, I choose to believe that Monica is manipulating and playing puppet master. And how I'm just sitting here like, how do y'all not see this? Right? Then we have Whitney, who is so desperate for conflict in a storyline that she literally, in her mind, made up a whole scenario where Heather is shaming her for her sexuality, only to find out Heather had a whole conversation with Whitney about including this story in the book, and Whitney told her, okay, well, yeah, you can say this, but take that out. And Heather did exactly that, and girl, Whitney's still mad. But let's get back to them. So let's start at the beginning. So we have Heather and Monica go walk to clear the air from last night. Heather said, listen, last night was a lie. I don't know what really went down, but like, let's not let me and you and our situation sideline what happened, right? And she said, well, basically she was like, well, I didn't realize it was such a big deal. I didn't realize it was such an issue with me, talking about sex. And Heather was like, well, I kind of told you earlier in the day, and you brought it back around. So again, you just didn't respect my boundary. She's like, well, we're getting to know each other, and I really don't want us to have this issue. My thing is, she's like, but my thing is this. Heather told you. You thought it was a joke. You made it like, I thought you were a bad Mormon. What's the big deal? My thing is this. I understood what Heather was saying on both ends. And like I said before, if you guys go back to season 1, Heather is very open about her sex life. Heather talks about, we saw Heather sneak off with, had a little sneaky link with the black dude. We saw Heather talk about oral sex and all sorts of things. But I think probably one or two things happened. Her daughters probably saw it and felt some kind of way. Or maybe she saw it and felt some kind of way and has decided to sort of dial back the sexual stuff and the sexual conversation. But let's not act like what Heather has not had these conversations. If you go back to season 1, and really part of season 2, because season 2 she was flirting with Coach Shaw's friends. So very much so these things were happening. But either she's just made a decision. And certainly her daughter and her daughter's sex life, you've got to understand that that's off limits. Like, why would you ask somebody about their children's sex life? And even if by some weird chance you thought that was okay, when they told you it wasn't okay, that should have been, oh, my bad, girl. I didn't realize I walked that close to the edge. So I can appreciate the conversation to clear the air, but Monica acting like she doesn't understand why Heather got so upset pissed me off. Because again, I already feel like Monica's a liar. So then we see Meredith call her husband, and Meredith was saying, how everything has been a lot, it's been a lot going on. And she was like, honestly, I didn't feel like I got a lot of support from Heather, and I kind of feel some kind of way about that. I feel the same way, because I feel like, especially later on in the episode, we'll get to that, I feel like Heather absolutely should have had Meredith's back, or at least at the very least was like, maybe not that night, but definitely the next day on the yacht, and we'll get to that. But I feel the same way. I'm like, Heather, what's going on with you? Like, again, I feel like Heather has done that all season. It's almost like Heather's like, I ain't in it. I don't have anything to do with it. Whatever y'all got going on, that's y'all's business. Like, I feel like a couple of times this season, Heather has not been there to support the people that she claims are her friends or that she has a good relationship with. We saw Whitney and Angie go play tennis. And Whitney, of course, they got to rehash what happened. And they are 100% on board that Meredith is this horrible person that has done these horrible things. And she needs to just own it. She needs to just own it. But then Whitney is also laying the foundation for this whole thing where she feels like Heather is coming for her and shaming her sexuality. She told a story about how she had Heather take pictures of her, like a boudoir photo shoot for her husband for their anniversary, and how Heather put that in her book. And she was like, I find it very interesting that Heather doesn't want anybody to talk about her sex life, yet she's putting it my sex life in her book to shame me, to shame me sexually, to shame me. And I'm like, girl, I don't even understand how you got there. 1 + 1 is not equaling 2 in this equation, because I am not understanding how you got there. Heather telling a story about her having a photo shoot. And again, I ain't read the book. Now, Heather, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't read your book, okay? But from the way Whitney is describing it, I'm so confused. How does a story about her taking pictures of you for your husband, for y'all's anniversary, how does that shame your sexuality? I could see if she was telling a story about you out here with 20,000 different men. I could see her talking about you, maybe you taking shots and starting the OnlyFans. Like, I don't know. But I don't understand how that ends up being a shaming conversation, but whatever. Then you proceed to have a whole conversation in the van with Monica about sex and your sexual likes and dislikes. And can we talk about how trifling that was that Monica was in that damn van shaving her legs? Listen, I get it. Sometimes we forget. But, girl, you could have just let that go. Like, y'all would get on the boat. It was just y'all. Y'all weren't going to be around nobody else. Girl, you could have let that go for a couple of hours. Anyway, neither here nor there. So they're going on a yacht trip for the day that Lisa booked. So they get on the trip. They get on the ship. And Meredith feels iced out. Meredith feels like the ladies are icing her out, that they're not really talking to her. They're taking selfies. They're taking pictures. And she feels like they're sort of like, you know, ignoring her, what have you. So we're on the boat. Meredith, so I left off with Meredith feeling iced out. Sorry, y'all. So, Heather goes over to talk to Meredith. And Heather says, girl, what? And I didn't like the way she approached it, because I feel like she was accusing Meredith when she walked up on her. Girl, what have you gotten yourself into? What is going on? How did you get mixed up in this? Now, here's the thing. I understand that a lot of the ladies are thinking about all the times that Meredith had this inside information, this tea, these DMs, these messages. I get it. I do. Oh, put a pin in that. Rewind. While Heather was talking to Monica, while Monica joked about sending her about she said, well, I make fake accounts. She said, I would make fake accounts and send out information. I would do it. And Heather was like, girl, no, you wouldn't. You wouldn't send them to yourself. And she was like, well, no, not myself. So you're basically letting us know that you would do it. Okay, moving on. So then Meredith tells Heather the whole story. Meredith says, listen, I've been trying to process because none of this makes any sense to me. So I've really been trying to put 2 and 2 together. And one thing I've learned about Meredith is not emotional and she's not reactionary. When Meredith gets to that point where she's yelling at them, it is a process. Like, Meredith doesn't start there. Like, Lisa automatically goes to 100, right? Heather and Whitney go to 100. Meredith, she's a slow burn. Now, she can get there, but she's a slow burn. And I understood what Meredith, now I still feel like Meredith was a little too calm the night before, but Meredith was like, I was really trying to process all of this and trying to put it together. Now, what I feel like is that Meredith is the only one thinking methodical in this whole situation, trying to figure out, well, why in the world would Monica do this? So what she said to Heather was, on the flight back from Palm Springs, she said Monica sat next to her. And Monica was telling her all of these stories about the people in the people in Utah, the mafia, like all of these different stories, but she ain't put a name on it. She didn't put a name on it, right? She said then when her and what's the girl name? Monica went out to lunch. She said they were passing the store, and she said, yeah. She said, I heard that the Greek mafia owns this store. And she said, Monica said to her, do you think that's Angie's family? And Meredith's response was, girl, I don't know. She said, and then the next thing she knows, she starts getting all these DMs in her inbox about Angie and all of the money, all this stuff about her being in the mafia and the bankruptcy and all this other stuff. She said, and that information directly connected to those stories she was telling her on the plane. She said it all linked up and it all was all connected. She said, so why wouldn't I then connect and think Monica got the same information I got because it was telling the same story she told me? So yes, I called Monica because I was like, girl, this is the information you was telling me on the plane. Did you get these? Is this where you got the information from? Like, when did you? Now, here's my issue, Meredith. I feel like I understand what you're saying, but I feel like you just didn't fight back enough and you allowed Monica to control the narrative. Because once they started talking about you were the one that sent the DMs and this, and this, I don't understand why you wasn't like, whoa, hold up, shut the hell up. Because I didn't send nothing. Monica, did you say that I sent, Meredith, that's what I needed you to do in that moment. But neither here nor there, Heather has this whole story now. And Heather was like, girl, you need to go talk and you need to go clear this up. So Meredith goes to Monica and says, Monica, can we talk? And she takes Monica off to the side. And Meredith is trying to talk to Monica. Monica starts loud talking Meredith and over talking Meredith. So now the rest of the ladies can hear the conversation. And here come Lisa ass yelling from across the boat. You just need to own it, Meredith. Meredith, you're a liar. Meredith, you're lying. Meredith, you need to own it. Meredith, 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 Meredith. Right? That is where I got really irritated. Because I was like, Lisa, girl, you don't have nothing to do with this. Like, let them talk it out. However the conversation is going to end, let the conversation be what it's going to be. But you don't need to be adding your 2 cents in. And I'm almost starting to feel like Lisa has something to do with it. Because you were so quick to overtalk and shut down. Even that night at dinner, Lisa got involved. And she started overtalking Meredith. And she started shutting Meredith down. And I feel like, why are you so vested in Meredith being wrong? And Monica is the same person that you literally could not stand 2 weeks ago, but now you are so hell-bent on defending her against your so-called friend whose friendship you were so pressed to get back, and now you are so pressed for her to be wrong in this scenario. It is so confusing to me. And Heather, that is when you were supposed to speak up and say, well, I talked to Meredith, and her story actually, I understand now why she called Monica. Give her a chance to tell the story. You see what I'm saying? But neither here nor there, nothing is resolved. Meredith is back on the island by herself, over on the boat by herself. The rest of the ladies, they done got jumped in the water and they drinking and they doing this, that, and the other. So we get off the boat. We get on the bus. And Meredith goes up to Lisa, of all people, and says, hey, I know I'm not one of your favorite people right now, but you're the only person that I think would be as excited as I am. Brooks got signed to a modeling agency, to Ford Models, which of course is a big deal. And they proceed to sit on the back of the bus and kiki about it. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy for you. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Baby, and this is when I knew. This is when, in my opinion, when I knew that Monica was full of shit. Because baby, Monica was so mad. Monica was hot as fish grease that Meredith and Lisa were in the back of that bus talking. She just knew that she had done a good job of separating the two of them. Baby, she was so hot. Oh yeah, Angie K got into it too, child. But anyway, but she was so hot as fish grease. Okay. So later on, she gets to talking to Whitney about it, and mind you, she was trying to take Whitney's damn makeup artist, but child, that's between her and Whitney. But she's talking to Whitney about it, and she's like, I don't understand. Like, why isn't she? How can she forgive Lisa, but she can't forgive me? Why is she mad at Lisa anymore, but she's mad at me? I don't understand it. I don't understand it, girl, because she don't have no relationship with you. Like, at the end of the day, Lisa and Meredith have history, and they done been down this road before. And like Meredith says later on when they at dinner, she said, look, when I chose to forgive Lisa and allow Lisa back in my life, I had to accept who Lisa was. And what that means is when Lisa get mad, Lisa goes to 100. And she said, and she was like, but you're not mad at her anymore. Meredith was like, I didn't say that. I didn't say I wasn't mad at her. But I know who Lisa is. And see, that's the thing, Monica. These people, as much as they might be siding with you right now over Meredith, they don't know you, girl. They don't know you. They don't have a relationship with you. They're not friends with you. So yes, at the end of the day, Meredith is going to have an easier way of reconnecting with Lisa, Whitney, Heather over you, because there's no foundation for that. But that's when I knew, baby. Monica was so mad about it. So the ladies get dressed for dinner. They go out to dinner. And at dinner, again, Lisa talks about her son leaving, and Monica, Meredith is sitting there, and baby Meredith is in tears, right? She's upset, but she's crying. And Monica was like, well, what's going on? Like, you're crying. She said, I really want to talk about it because, it's just uncomfortable for me, and I just want to clear the air. And, Meredith was like, well, it's uncomfortable for me too. Like, what? Let's talk about it. So, baby, that's when they had that whole conversation where she's like, well, I don't understand. You're in the back of the bus kikiing with Lisa, but like Lisa was yelling at you just a few minutes ago, and I don't understand how can you be okay with them, but you're not okay with me. And I'm like, Monica, because you started all this shit. Like, of course, also it's gonna be easier for me to forgive Lisa because Lisa ain't start this shit. Like, yeah, Lisa done got caught up in it, and Lisa is going along with the bullshit, but she didn't start it. You started this. You started this bullshit. So Monica is in her little feelings. So anyway, Monica and Lisa decide to just move on or whatever. So they end up going to this bar. It's like the oldest bar on the island, and the ladies are drinking, so you know how that goes. They get to drinking or whatever, and somehow or another, child, they get to talking about Heather's book, because Heather talks about having Ball's palsy and how part of her face was paralyzed, and she was like, you guys, it's in the book. If you read the book, it was in the book. So later on at the bar, Heather makes another comment about it being in the book, something being in the book. So Whitney was like, well, I read your book, and I don't appreciate the fact that, you have a problem with people bringing up your sex life or whatever, but you weaponized my sex life. You weaponized my sex. And Heather was like, girl, what are you talking about? But Heather, and you could tell she's drunk because she's doing that Whitney drunk slur, loud talk thing. So you could tell she's been drinking. And baby, Heather was over it. Heather was like, Whitney, listen, I don't know what you're talking about, and I'm not doing this with you. Like, I am not having this conversation because you're crazy. What you're saying makes no sense. She was like, I'm disengaging from this conversation, okay? And she proceeds to walk her happy ass off. Baby, why Whitney following her? Heather, just own it, Heather. Own it, Heather. Just apologize, Heather, and own it. Just apologize and own it. Baby, Heather was so over it, and Heather and she even told production, tell her to stop following me. Like, tell her to leave me alone. Tell her to stop following me. And then you see production talking to Heather, and Heather is like, listen, just don't say nothing to me right now. Like, I really need to chill for a minute. Like, don't say nothing to me. I really need to bring this down. I just don't say nothing to me. Baby, Whitney is going to find a way to make a scene about her if she don't do nothing else. Whitney, you have made your whole persona on this show about your sexuality from season 1 when you had that pole in your basement and you proceeded to show all the people how to work the pole. But like, you have made your sex life a part of this show. Again, we find out that Heather said, listen, I told you I was going to include that story in the book. You told me to take certain parts out. I took those parts out. Heather was like, she has known about this in the book from the beginning. Like, I've had conversations with her. We gave her the opportunity to take it out altogether, or what parts. She said we could use it. There was only certain parts she wanted taken out. Not understanding the problem here. Not understanding the issue here. Baby, I'm with Heather on this one. Because, Whitney, you always trying to create a moment and make a scene. Anyway, that was the episode. Next week is the finale. Let me know what y'all think. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.